Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me, Dre. Now, I want to talk about the Super Bowl. Well, not the Super Bowl, but the halftime show with Beyonce. During the halftime show, Beyonce came out dressed in all black, and she had a group of black women who were also dressed in black. They had the berets and the poofy afros, and it was to pay tribute to the Black Panther Party, or the women of the Black Panther Party. And Beyonce also wanted to speak out against police brutality. I didn't have a problem with the halftime performance. I actually enjoyed it. But not everyone seemed to have enjoyed it. In fact, it seems like a lot of white America got pissed off at Beyonce. Let's take a further look at this bullshit right here. White people getting mad at a black woman forming with a group of black women celebrating black women from a well-known black organization during Black History Month. And this one white person in particular, a skinny bitch named Tomi Lahren, she's got a show on The Blaze, and she decided to get on her soapbox and criticize Beyonce for a halftime performance. She comes out fiery talking about hands up, don't shoot, looting in Ferguson and Baltimore, Oscars so white, and she tried to accuse Beyonce of using the Super Bowl as a platform to shove Black Lives Don't Matter agenda down white America's throat. While this bitch attacks black people for being upset about cops killing unarmed black people and us rioting because of that reason, she doesn't have a fucking word to say about white people who lose their fucking mind when their favorite college team loses a championship. Now, in typical white fashion, this bitch decides to give an inaccurate history of the Black Panther Party. She accuses them of using violence and intimidation not for racial equality, but to overthrow white domination. In the 1960s, the civil rights movement led by Martin Luther King and many other black activists tried to march peacefully to gain the rights that white people inherently had since the beginning of this country. The uncomfortable truth that white people refuse to acknowledge is the fact that black people simply wanted the same rights to better living conditions, better education, and the right to vote that white people had, but were met with violence from racist white cops and KKK members. We also had an uphill battle against an oppressive government. For this reason, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale founded the Black Panther Party to encourage black people to stand against a government that would try to keep them oppressed, as well as monitor police coming into black communities performing acts of police brutality. Lahren, she acknowledges white domination, but tries to portray or paint the narrative that black people fighting for equal rights as white people is a bad thing. The Black Panther Party used violence and intimidation. Let me ask you, has the Black Panther Party ever killed a white teenager for flirting with a black woman? When the fuck has the Black Panther Party ever dragged a white man out in public, castrated him, cut his fucking fingers off, and then hung him over a fucking bonfire so that 10,000 people around town can watch him die? When the fuck has the Black Panther Party ever dragged a white man behind a truck so badly that he was dismembered? This bitch conveniently left out important facts about the Black Panther Party, such as their creation of breakfast programs that fed more than 20,000 black children in communities in over 19 cities. Black Panther Party also provided the people's free ambulance service as well as free health clinics. The Black Panther Party also provided free food programs to not just black people, but oppressed people. Did the KKK ever do that? What Tomi Lahren won't tell you is that the FBI, the same FBI that deemed Martin Luther King as a communist, made it a priority to dismantle the Black Panther Party from within. After all, history has shown that when black people rise up and empower themselves, white America begins to fear, and they find new ways to oppress black people. Case in point, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, 1921. Now this bitch figures that with Super Bowl 50, it's a time where people should come together to enjoy the sport of football because it is, after all, one of the biggest sporting events of the year, as if there's no racism in football. He's quick to dismiss that white people got pissed off every time Cam Newton scored a touchdown and he had a celebration dance, but those same white people didn't have jack shit to say about Aaron Rodgers' celebration dance every time he scored a touchdown. Notice how she didn't have a fucking thing to say about Bill Romanowski's tweet calling Cam Newton a boy just because he walked away from the press conference at the end of the game. Did you notice how she didn't talk about white fans for the Pittsburgh Steelers who protested Michael Vick being signed simply because of his past with dogfighting? Those same white fans didn't have jack shit to say about Ben Roethlisberger, who's been accused of raping 3 women. She goes on to call Beyonce privileged and then has a fucking audacity to allude that black people won't let America heal and we keep ripping off the historical band-aid. It's basically white people's way of saying if you don't talk about it, it never fucking happened. Let me ask this bitch one question. How fucking deep is the scar for the family of Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, Sam DuBose, Walter Scott, John McDonald, John Crawford, This privileged ass bitch, she has the audacity to accuse Beyonce of trying to perpetuate the battle of the races, but had nothing to say about those 6 girls from the Desert Vista High School in Arizona who lined up with the letters on her shirt to spell out the word nigger. She finally shows how petty her pasty ass is by trying to bring up Jay-Z's past as a former drug dealer. As if that has anything to fucking do with Beyonce's performance during the halftime show. But like I said earlier, every time a black person rises up, a white person tries to knock a motherfucker down. Oh, and by the way, Tommy, Jay-Z seems to be doing well giving back to the community with his Sean Carter Foundation. He's also worked with athletes to give donations using his Sean Carter Scholarship Fund. This video is not going to be easy for a lot of motherfuckers to digest. Some may perceive this as an overall attack against white people, and that's not the intent. I also make no motherfucking apology for the words that I said, because as a black man, I see from the outside looking in and from the inside looking out. People like to take a lot of shit out of context, but I didn't see anything wrong with Beyonce's performance during the Super Bowl halftime show. What I find ironic about this whole fucking situation is the fact that people are very dismissive to police brutality, but have nothing to say about Martin Shkreli jacking up the price of pharmaceuticals. Now think about that shit. Anyway, if you like this video, hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.